Have you ever wondered why you can be doing all the right things, eating clean, taking supplements, avoiding junk food, yet your energy is low, your weight won't budge, and your health markers quietly worsen? Here's a surprising truth most people never hear. Some of the most common vitamins people take daily are quietly damaging their metabolism, while a few essential ones, when taken correctly, can dramatically improve energy, fat burning, and healthy aging. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Vitamins don't work in isolation. They interact with your liver, your hormones, your insulin system, and even your stress chemistry. When you take the wrong form, dose, or combination, you create metabolic confusion, overloading detox pathways, blocking absorption, and stressing organs meant to heal you. And this matters deeply because metabolic health is the foundation of longevity, brain clarity, hormone balance, and disease prevention. Today, I want to clearly explain 4 vitamins you should never take, especially if you're over 40, and 4 vitamins your body truly depends on daily for repair, energy, and resilience. I'll break this down simply, like we're standing at a whiteboard together. No fear, no hype, just physiology and practical solutions you can use immediately. And if this kind of clear, science-based guidance is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you take control of your health naturally. Pause here for your feedback. When you're ready, I'll continue with section 2. The 6 science-backed insights we'll cover. Let's start with the first vitamin you should never take routinely. And this one surprises a lot of health-conscious people. It's synthetic vitamin A, especially in the form of retinol palmitate or retinol acetate, commonly found in multivitamins and fortified foods. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Vitamin A is fat-soluble, which means your body does not flush out excess the way it does with vitamin C or B vitamins. Instead, it gets stored, primarily in the liver. And the liver is already one of the hardest working organs in your body. It manages blood sugar, hormones, cholesterol, detoxification, and fat metabolism. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your liver like a warehouse with limited storage space. Natural vitamin A from food arrives in small, manageable shipments, but synthetic vitamin A from supplements is like sending in oversized crates every single day. Eventually, the warehouse becomes overloaded, and when that happens, inflammation rises, detox slows, and metabolic signals become distorted. What the research shows is that chronic excess vitamin A intake is associated with liver stress, bone loss, arterial calcification, and increased fracture risk, especially in adults over 40. This is not deficiency medicine. This is overload physiology. Here's another key issue most people miss. You do not absorb vitamin A from supplements the same way you absorb it from food. In nature, vitamin A comes primarily as beta-carotene, found in vegetables like carrots, pumpkin, and leafy greens. Your body converts beta-carotene into active vitamin A only when needed. That conversion is tightly regulated by your thyroid, liver, and antioxidant status. Synthetic vitamin A bypasses that safety system. Now, metabolically, this matters because excess vitamin A interferes with vitamin D signaling, suppresses thyroid function, and increases cortisol activity, all of which slow fat burning and accelerate aging. So what's the solution? Avoid multivitamins containing preformed vitamin A. Get vitamin A from whole foods, not pills. Prioritize beta-carotene sources paired with healthy fats. Support liver health with adequate protein, choline, and sleep. And if this explanation is helping you rethink supplements you've taken for years, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you protect your metabolism and longevity without fear or extremes. When you're ready, I'll move into section 4, where we cover the second vitamin you should never take and how it quietly weakens your arteries and heart over time. Let's move to the second vitamin you should never take casually, And this one is especially important if you care about your heart, arteries, and longevity. It's synthetic calcium supplements. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Calcium is essential, but only when it's in the right place. Your body is designed to pull calcium from food slowly alongside magnesium, vitamin K2, protein, and stomach acid. This allows calcium to be directed into bones and teeth where it belongs. But when calcium comes in large supplemental doses, especially without its cofactors, it behaves very differently. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine calcium like cement. When delivered gradually, with the right workers and blueprints, it builds strong structures, your bones. But when dumped suddenly, without guidance, it hardens wherever it lands. And in the human body, that often means arteries, joints, kidneys, and soft tissue. What the research shows is that calcium supplements increase the risk of arterial calcification and cardiovascular events, particularly in older adults. This is not because calcium is bad. It's because isolated calcium overwhelms the body's placement system. Here's the metabolic issue most people don't hear. Excess calcium in the bloodstream raises insulin resistance, interferes with magnesium absorption, and increases inflammatory signaling in blood vessels. That combination accelerates vascular aging and stiffens arteries, exactly the opposite of what we want for metabolic health. And here's the key insight. Most people who take calcium supplements are not actually calcium deficient. They're deficient in vitamin D, magnesium, protein, stomach acid, and movement. So what's the solution? Stop taking standalone calcium supplements unless medically necessary. Get calcium from whole foods, sardines, yogurt, leafy greens, sesame. Ensure adequate magnesium intake daily. Take vitamin D and K2 together, not calcium alone. Strength train or walk regularly to tell bones to absorb minerals. Bones don't grow stronger because calcium is present. They grow stronger because the body is signaled to use it. If this is reshaping how you think about supplements, stay with me, because next we'll talk about the third vitamin you should never take, one that quietly disrupts hormones, nerves, and blood sugar control when taken incorrectly. When you're ready, say next and we'll continue. Let's talk about the third vitamin you should never take blindly. And this one is often marketed as safe, water-soluble, and even energizing. It's vitamin B6, especially in high-dose supplemental form. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Vitamin B6 plays a role in neurotransmitters, blood sugar regulation, and protein metabolism. In small food-based amounts, it's helpful. But when taken chronically at high doses, B6 behaves very differently than most people realize. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your nervous system like a finely tuned electrical grid. Vitamin B6 helps regulate signal flow. But too much B6 is like overvoltage. The wires don't burn instantly, but over time they become irritated, misfire, and degrade. What the research shows is that excess B6 supplementation can cause sensory nerve damage, leading to tingling, numbness, burning sensations, balance issues, and even worsened anxiety. And here's the important part. This can happen even at doses commonly found in B-complex supplements, especially when taken daily for months or years. Now let's look at the metabolic angle. High-dose B6 interferes with magnesium and zinc balance, both of which are essential for insulin sensitivity and calm nervous system signaling. When those minerals drop, cortisol rises, blood sugar control worsens, and sleep quality declines. This is why some people feel wired but tired on B-complex vitamins. Here's the root cause issue. Most people don't need more B6. They need better absorption and less stress. B6 deficiency is rare unless there's malabsorption, alcoholism, or severe nutrient depletion. But supplement marketing has convinced people that more B vitamins equals more energy, when in reality, energy comes from mitochondria, minerals, sleep, and stable blood sugar. So what's the solution? Avoid high-dose B6 supplements unless prescribed. Skip daily B complex formulas just in case. Get B6 from food, fish, eggs, potatoes, bananas. Support energy by improving sleep, protein intake, and magnesium. If supplementing, keep B6 under 5-10 mg a day unless supervised. Your nervous system heals with balance, not stimulation. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you optimize energy and metabolism without burning out your nervous system. When you're ready, we'll move into the fourth and final vitamin you should never take, one that quietly disrupts gut health, immunity, and hormone signaling when misused. Let's move into the fourth and final vitamin, or more accurately, nutrient, you should never take unless you have a confirmed medical need. It's iron supplements. This one is critical because iron is often taken with good intentions, and yet it's one of the most oxidative substances in human biology. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Iron is essential for carrying oxygen in the blood, but iron is also highly reactive. Your body treats it like a controlled substance, tightly regulating absorption, transport, and storage. Unlike many nutrients, your body has no natural way to excrete excess iron. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of iron like fire. In the right place, in the right amount, it keeps you alive. Too much, or in the wrong location, and it causes damage. When iron builds up unnecessarily, it sparks oxidative stress, damaging mitochondria, blood vessels, and organs, especially the liver, pancreas, and heart. What the research shows is that excess iron accelerates aging, increases insulin resistance, and raises cardiovascular risk, particularly in men and postmenopausal women. This is one reason ferritin, your iron storage marker, tends to rise with age and metabolic dysfunction. Here's the metabolic connection most people never hear. High iron levels worsen blood sugar control by damaging pancreatic beta cells, the cells responsible for insulin production. This links excess iron directly to type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and metabolic syndrome. And yet, iron is routinely added to multivitamins and energy formulas. Here's the root cause truth. Most fatigue is not caused by iron deficiency. It's caused by poor sleep, low thyroid function, inflammation, low magnesium, or unstable blood sugar. So what's the solution? Never take iron unless blood work confirms deficiency. Avoid multivitamins with iron unless prescribed. If iron is high, consider donating blood. With medical guidance, support iron balance with polyphenols, fiber, and gut health. Address fatigue by fixing sleep, protein intake, and insulin balance. Iron should be earned through food and regulated by the body, not forced through pills. Now that we've covered the 4 vitamins you should never take casually, we're ready to shift gears. Next, I'll walk you through the first of the 4 vitamins you must take daily, the one that quietly controls insulin sensitivity, immune strength, hormone balance, and longevity. When you're ready, say next and we'll continue. Now let's shift into the vitamins you truly must take daily. And we start with the most foundational one of all. It's vitamin D, but not in the simplistic way it's usually discussed. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin. It functions more like a master hormone regulator. Nearly every cell in your body has a vitamin D receptor, including your brain, immune system, pancreas, muscles, and fat cells. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of vitamin D as the light switch in a house. You can have the best appliances, insulin, thyroid hormone, testosterone, estrogen, but without flipping the switch, nothing works properly. Vitamin D turns systems on. What the research shows is that low vitamin D is strongly associated with insulin resistance, obesity, depression, immune dysfunction, muscle weakness, and accelerated aging. And yet, it's one of the most common deficiencies worldwide, especially in adults who spend time indoors. Here's the metabolic connection that matters most. Vitamin D improves insulin sensitivity, meaning it helps your cells respond to insulin instead of resisting it. This allows glucose to move into cells for energy instead of being stored as fat. It also reduces chronic inflammation, which is one of the biggest drivers of metabolic slowdown. And here's the key point many people miss. Vitamin D does not work alone. If you take vitamin D without magnesium, it may not activate properly. If you take it without vitamin K2, calcium can end up in arteries instead of bones. This is why some people say vitamin D didn't work for them. So what's the correct physiology-based approach? Take vitamin D daily, not sporadically. Ideal dose for most adults, 2,000–4,000 IU day. Adjust with labs. Always pair with magnesium. Add vitamin K2 if supplementing long-term. Take with a meal containing healthy fat. Get sunlight exposure whenever possible. And here's something empowering. When vitamin D levels normalize, people often notice better mood, stronger immunity, improved sleep, and easier fat loss without changing anything else. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you build metabolic health from the inside out. When you're ready, I'll move into the second vitamin you must take daily, the one most people are unknowingly deficient in, and the one your nervous system depends on to stay calm, focused, and resilient. Let's move into the second nutrient you must take daily. And even though it's often left out of the vitamin conversation, it may be the single most important regulator of your nervous system and metabolism. It's magnesium. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions. That means it helps turn food into energy, stabilizes blood sugar, calms stress hormones, regulates heart rhythm, and allows muscles and nerves to relax. Without enough magnesium, nothing runs smoothly. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of magnesium as the oil in an engine. You can have fuel, spark, and air. But without oil, friction increases, heat builds up, and the system wears down prematurely. That's exactly what happens in the body when magnesium is low. What the research shows is that the majority of adults are magnesium deficient, largely due to depleted soils, processed food, chronic stress, caffeine, alcohol, and certain medications. And deficiency doesn't always show up on standard blood tests because your body pulls magnesium out of bones and tissues to keep blood levels stable. Now here's the metabolic connection. Low magnesium worsens insulin resistance, raises cortisol, disrupts sleep, and increases cravings, especially for sugar and carbohydrates. This creates a vicious cycle. Stress depletes magnesium, and low magnesium increases stress. This is why people often feel tense, wired, anxious, tired, or unable to sleep deeply, even when they're doing everything right. So what's the solution? Take magnesium daily, preferably in the evening. Best forms, magnesium glycinate, malate, or threonate. Typical dose, 300–400 millimillimeter a day, split if sensitive. Avoid magnesium oxide, it's poorly absorbed. Pair magnesium with vitamin D for better activation, reduce stresses that waste magnesium, excess caffeine, sugar, and alcohol. Here's something powerful to remember. When magnesium is restored, people often notice better sleep within days, calmer nerves, fewer cravings, improved blood sugar control, and even lower blood pressure without adding medications. This isn't about forcing the body, it's about giving it what it's been quietly missing. When you're ready, we'll move into the third daily vitamin you must take, the one that protects your arteries, directs minerals to the right places, and plays a key role in longevity and heart health. Just say next, and we'll continue. Let's move into the third vitamin you must take daily, and this one quietly determines where minerals go in your body, which makes it essential for heart health, bone strength, and longevity. It's vitamin K2. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic director. It tells calcium exactly where to go and, just as importantly, where not to go. Without K2, calcium can drift into soft tissues like arteries and joints instead of being locked safely into bones and teeth. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine calcium as bricks. Vitamin D helps you absorb the bricks. But without a builder and blueprint, those bricks get dumped randomly. Vitamin K2 is the builder. It activates proteins that cement calcium into bones and remove it from arteries. What the research shows is that higher vitamin K2 intake is associated with reduced arterial calcification, lower cardiovascular risk, and improved bone density, especially in older adults. This is one reason some populations with high K2 intake have strong bones and low heart disease rates. Now here's the metabolic insight most people miss. Vitamin K2 improves insulin sensitivity and supports mitochondrial efficiency. That means better energy production at the cellular level and less inflammation. It also works synergistically with vitamin D. So if you're taking vitamin D without K2, you're only doing half the job. This matters deeply for longevity. Arterial stiffness is one of the strongest predictors of aging and cardiovascular risk. K2 helps keep arteries flexible and resilient, which supports healthy blood pressure and nutrient delivery to tissues. So what's the practical protocol? Take vitamin K2 daily if supplementing vitamin D. Best form, MK7 for long-lasting activity. Typical dose, 90-180 mcg day. Take with a meal containing fat. Get food sources when possible. Natto, aged cheeses, egg yolks. Avoid high-dose calcium unless K2 and magnesium are adequate. Here's the key takeaway to remember. Vitamin D loads calcium. Vitamin K2 tells calcium where to go. If this is helping you connect the dots, stay with me, because next we'll cover the fourth and final daily vitamin, the one essential for brain health, cellular repair, inflammation control, and long-term metabolic resilience. When you're ready, say next, and we'll continue. Let's move into the fourth and final vitamin you must take daily. And this one is essential for brain health, inflammation control, fat metabolism, and cellular repair. It's omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every cell membrane in your body is made of fat. The type of fat you build those membranes with determines how well cells communicate, how sensitive they are to insulin, and how easily inflammation turns on or off. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your cell membranes like the walls of a house. If they're built with brittle, low-quality materials, signals can't pass through properly. Omega-3s make those walls flexible and responsive, allowing hormones, nutrients, and signals to move smoothly. What the research shows is that modern diets are severely deficient in omega-3s while being overloaded with omega-6 inflammatory fats from seed oils. This imbalance drives chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, joint pain, brain fog, depression, and accelerated aging. Now here's the metabolic connection that matters. Omega-3s improve insulin sensitivity, reduce triglycerides, support fat oxidation, and lower inflammatory cytokines. They also play a major role in brain health, protecting neurons and supporting memory and mood. This is why low omega-3 status is associated with higher rates of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and metabolic syndrome. And here's the key point. You cannot get therapeutic levels of EPA and DHA from plant sources alone. Flax and chia contain ALA, which converts very poorly into EPA and DHA, especially in people under stress, over 40, or with insulin resistance. So what's the correct protocol? Take omega-3s daily. Focus on EPA plus DHA, not just fish oil. Typical dose, 1,000-2,000 mg combined EPA-DHA per day. Take with meals for absorption. Choose high-quality purified sources. Eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week if possible. When omega-3 levels improve, people often notice clearer thinking, calmer mood, better joints, improved lipid panels, and easier fat loss because inflammation is finally under control. And if this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you build metabolic health and longevity naturally. Let's bring everything together. Today, you learned something most people are never told. Supplements can either support your metabolism or silently sabotage it. We covered the 4 vitamins you should never take casually: synthetic vitamin A, standalone calcium supplements, high-dose vitamin B6, iron without confirmed deficiency. Each one causes problems not because it's bad, but because it bypasses the body's natural control systems, overloading the liver, arteries, nerves, or pancreas. Then we shifted to the 4 nutrients your body truly needs every day: vitamin D to regulate hormones and insulin, magnesium to calm the nervous system and stabilize blood sugar, vitamin K2 to protect arteries and bones, omega-3s to control inflammation and support the brain. Here's the deeper lesson. Health isn't about adding more pills. It's about restoring balance, supporting physiology, and removing what doesn't belong. If you take just one action today, let it be this: audit your supplements, remove what's harming you, add what your body is quietly asking for, and then pay attention to how your energy, sleep, mood, and weight respond. Your body is always giving feedback when you know how to listen. If this added value to your life, like the video and subscribe to join a growing community of people optimizing their health naturally, calmly, and intelligently. I'll see you in the next one.